I'd barely killed the engine when I saw them 6 men in matching polos, bolt cutters dangling, standing at the gate like they were about to auction off my home. One of them was already at my boathouse prying at the lock. Another was grinning while filming me as if I was the intruder, and in the SUV behind them I caught her reflection in the window. Karen, Whitman sunglasses, clipboard, and that smug posture like she'd already won. That morning I realized this wasn't just neighborhood politics. This was war, and they had come to take my land. My name's Ethan Porter. 5 years ago, I bought 8.5 acres of lakefront in northern Washington just outside the reach of a sprawling homeowners association called Lakewood Shores. I wanted silence, not manicured lawns and beige mailboxes. My driveway is gravel. My mailbox is dented steel. My dock is scarred from the first storm I lived through. Stubborn, imperfect, and mine. For a while, the woods kept their promised peace birdsong water lapping against the posts. Then Karen showed up. She came to my door once with 2 board members, a folder of papers fat with signatures. She didn't say, "We own you," but she might as well have. I shut the door in her face, figured that was the end. I was wrong. Weeks later, I found her crew on my land. Radios hissing, bolt cutters ready. I pulled out my phone, recorded every move, and told them flatly, "You're trespassing." Karen's smile tightened. "This property has been reassigned for community park development. You're in violation." I said, "Lady, my deed was notarized, recorded 5 years ago. This land is mine." She didn't flinch, just muttered, "You'll regret this." I told her, "No, you will." They backed off only when I called the sheriff, but the woods didn't sound the same after that. The promise of peace was broken. A few days later, a manila envelope appeared in my mailbox. County Survey Compliance Division, it claimed. Said my property was under jurisdictional suspension pending boundary clarification. Sounded official until I called the county. They had no inspector-teller, no such division. Fraud, plain and simple. I sent it to my lawyer Josh, who laughed so hard he had to set the phone down. Then I called Clayton, a surveyor who'd been walking this county longer than I'd been alive. He flagged every corner with GPS, then looked me dead in the eye. "Ethan, your boundaries are clean. This HOA is full of it." I added that fake letter to a growing stack in a folder I labeled Legal Ammunition. But then I came home to find a brand new steel gate across my access road. HOA signs nailed to it, laminated notices screaming, "Occupancy conflict pending mediation." Even a QR code to appeal my right to live here. My dock had been vandalized, numbers gouged off my boat, and a shiny new placard declared Community Lake Access. Inside my garage, I found footprints. On my cameras, I saw men in safety vests drilling posts, slapping up fake signs. They looked like contractors, but the job was sabotage. That night, I sat with the footage labeled every clip and made backups. They thought they were burying me in paper. What they didn't know was that paper burns. Then came the lawsuit. Real court papers this time, with county headers' case numbers and Karen's HOA suing me for illegal occupancy and ecological disruption. They wanted me evicted, fined $120,000, my house demolished. Reading it felt like acid. They weren't just trespassing, now they were trying to erase me with paragraphs. I called Josh. He chuckled through the whole complaint. "This is a joke, Ethan. We'll counter, and I'm bringing in backup." That's when I met Deanna Fox. Mid-40s, sharp-eyed voice like glass cutting through nonsense. She didn't waste words. She flipped through the lawsuit, dropped it on her desk with a thud, and said, "They're hiding something. Nobody files garbage this big unless they're covering up worse. We're not just defending, we're going on offense." I wanted to believe her, but there were nights I almost gave up. I'd sit at my desk drowning in letters, notices, threats. At one point, Karen's people left a check, $50,000, to walk away quietly. I held that, paper fingers trembling, and thought maybe they were right. Maybe it wasn't worth it. Maybe I was wrong all along. The doubt hit me like nothing I'd faced before, not even overseas. But then, Clayton's voice echoed in my head. "Your lines are clean." Josh reminded me, "You've got law on your side," and Deanna said it plain, This is conspiracy. Don't fold now. I tore up the check, slid the pieces into a plastic sleeve, and added it to the evidence stack. That was the night I stopped questioning myself. When the enforcers came back, it wasn't with papers. 3 SUVs rolled up 6 people in navy polos. Boots, radios, bolt cutters, duffels clinking with tools. Karen stayed in the passenger seat, watching behind her tinted glass. One man announced immediate enforcement action. Vacate or face removal. My boots were planted firm on my land. He gave me 30 seconds. I told him, "You've got 30 seconds to turn around before you step into felony trespass. Show me a badge, show me a court order, show me anything other than that embroidered cotton shirt." Silence. That's when I shifted the rifle, leaning against my woodpile. I didn't raise it, didn't point it, just rested the stock against my boot barrel safe toward the dirt. But steel in morning air speaks louder than threats. Their bravado cracked. One muttered, "Fall back." They retreated, climbing into SUVs. Karen rolled her window down halfway. "This isn't over," she said. I told her, "No, it isn't. But the next move won't be yours." The fight moved to court. The courthouse smelled like varnish and stale air. On their side, Karen, in a sharp blazer, lips painted blood red, her lawyer pale and tired. On mine, Josh, steady as a rock, and Deanna with a binder thick enough to break a chair. The judge, Marjorie Lee, was known for slicing through lies like a machete. Karen's lawyer droned on about violations and zoning. Deanna waited calm as stone. Then she stood and dismantled it all: title deeds, GPS surveys, 5 years of county filings. Finally, she demanded the HOA's original charter. Without it, they had no standing. The courtroom shifted. The judge's eyes narrowed. Karen's lawyer stammered something about documents lost in a flood. In August, in northern Washington. Even the bailiff smirked. The judge gave them 10 days. When they finally submitted, it was a disaster. Blurred dates, mismatched signatures, whole pages redacted. One sticky note still stuck to the corner. "Fix this before submission." Deanna smiled like a hunter catching scent. We brought in a handwriting expert. 3 of Karen's signatures were outright forgeries. Then came the emails. One board member, Derek Hayes, had flipped. His leak showed lines like, "We'll drown him in paperwork and push him out before winter." When the judge read them, the room went silent. Karen's mask cracked for the first time. Her jaw trembled. The judge leaned forward. "Ms. Whitman, you may want criminal counsel. What I see here borders on fraud and conspiracy." At the next hearing, it all came down. The courtroom was packed: neighbors, farmers, families. Deanna projected Karen's signatures on the screen, 5 versions, 5 different hands. The handwriting expert testified. Then Derek himself stood, voice shaking, admitting Karen had lied to the board, admitting she knew my land was never theirs. Emails lit up on the screen. Bureaucratic fatigue, intimidation, fraud. Then Tucker, my journalist buddy, exposed another land grab years earlier. Karen had done this before, bullied a man into selling cheap. This wasn't policy. This was her business model. The judge didn't waste time. Her gavel cracked like a gunshot. Effective immediately, all claims against Mr. Porter are void. The HOA will retract its filings, remove all signage and obstructions within 72 hours. Furthermore, Ms. Whitman, this court refers your actions to the district attorney for potential prosecution. Gasps rippled. Karen shot to her feet, screaming, "I was saving the community. I was the system." Deputies clicked cuffs around her wrists. She turned, eyes blazing at me, desperate. "You don't understand. I was the system." I stood steady and told her, "No, you were the problem." She was led away, her empire of forged paper collapsing to ash. And that was the end. Not with cheers, not with celebration, but with silence, the kind of silence I came here for in the first place. The land was mine again, not just on paper, but in truth. Never bow to bullies who dress their lies in paperwork, because truth, once it's documented, doesn't flinch.